man. Team no sleep. 20. What is this? I don't know what year it is, brother.
Yeah,
Wakanda forever, brother. Wakanda forever.
forever, brother.
Bruh. What is
So
do, brother? Good to see you, man. Oh, see, there it is right there. See, as soon as we get to talking, the FBI, CIA starts chiming in. Montel Allen is
they
in the
don't even want
building.
me to even start in this year.
They don't even, don't even want you to say hello. Okay. Don't even want the brother to say hello. My goodness. So
Yeah, man.
listen, man, we doing a lot of things. We doing a lot of things, and we here, we live, we trying to have this conversation. Social impact of sport. This is what we do. We got Marvin here in the building. We got folks chiming in. What it do, brother? So let me see. Oh
Matter of
Lord,
fact,
let me
not only
get.
is it's what nobody does it better. Let's start putting that on that
Man,
catchphrase. Not only
say that
nobody
again,
does it,
brother.
but nobody does it.
That's what we do, man. So this is what we're doing from it.
That makes
So
you
let's do
quiet,
this
huh?
first from a technology perspective. Let me let folks know what we're doing. So we are doing something very different, brand new. We've invested in some technology. So every stream, every team no sleep will be both horizontal and vertical. So meaning doesn't matter where you're watching from. You can watch from your TV, you can be watching from your phone, from your tablet, from Instagram, from the Facebook. Still got to do Facebook because my mom. So I got the Facebook,
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
all the
yeah.
places. Let me just put it that way. All the places, and we coming at you the way you like to receive content. So if you want to watch it horizontal, if you want to watch it vertical, that's what we're doing. And I see it's working perfectly in all these locations. So these nickels and dimes that I done invested back into the business is paying off. Man,
It's adding up.
huh?
It's adding up and paying off. And everybody, make sure you chime in on these stories. Like, give us your perspective of the story, so we can respond back to you. We're not like them other sucker shows. We'll talk
Ooh,
back to you,
oh, this brother hitting
and
hard
we'll
already.
engage in conversation with you. Yeah, let's keep it real. We
Hey,
keeping it
you
dialed in now.
yes, sir. Hey, that's you see, we got the new barbershop theme, so y'all don't never know. We may say something. We may
Hmm.
call somebody out. But Shirley, we see you here, so we're not gonna say no bad words. But appreciate you for being here as well, sis. Listen, man, let's get into some stories, man. Let's just talk about it's been a few weeks since you and I connected,
Yes.
but online because we always chatting back and forth. What have you seen, kind of in from a culture perspective, from a social impact perspective, that's kind of top of your mind as it relates to sports, media, and entertainment?
I think the biggest thing has been for me is change. We're seeing a lot of turnover, a lot of change, a lot of different directions, especially in the NFL, which is the hot topic right now.
Right.
But we see this also going in the NBA. Baseball's about to come up. Um, Olympics are coming up. We got a lot of issues that we've already tackled in the past that are coming up with the Olympics, and now, uh, uh, um, damn, I can't even think of it. But the transgender case is going on. This hearing going on by the Supreme Court. They're about to approve on it. Whether they can
Hold on,
approve.
hold
I mean,
on.
we got
Okay,
so much, so many things
let me
going
stop you.
on.
Let me stop you for a second
Yeah.
because what's funny is very rarely do me and so folks. I'm gonna spill some of our tea. Very rarely do Montel and I actually converge ahead of time about stories. Right? We just I pull them. We come off the dome because I like to get his intake.
Mhm.
You done already listed the top four stories that I got pulled up that we that we gonna talk about tonight. Right? You already got
No.
the bangers that I already want. I think that's just okay. I think that's funny as heck, man. All right, my bad,
And
man. I
I,
didn't
and I
mean to interrupt you.
believe the last one that we haven't talked about, or we haven't talked about, is people that have kids that are getting ready to go to college. That transfer portal is something wicked. So your high school students that think they're going to go Division 1 or go to these different schools, you better realign yourself and figure another pathway out, because it is the ugliest thing that ever happened to, I think, collegiate sports in a long time.
My God, Rich vibes. I see you in the building. Let's do this. Let's work backwards, right?
Let's go.
Because we did have some tragedies, but they were a couple of weeks ago. So we can talk about the Eldon Campbell thing, and I found out some specifics about what happened to him. We'll get into that, but let's work backwards, kind of on that last story that you particularly mentioned, and soaring price for youth sports. The price just to try out versus the price to pay to play. This story here from the Washington Post says, again, $50 just to try out for a sport, and then $3,000 to play. So that's not even your travel teams. That's not your
Mm-mm.
club teams. That's it. Well, it typically is your club teams, but again, these are real dollars and real numbers. Yeah, you want your kid to go out there and play soccer, baseball, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. But when they actually make the squad, hey, this is real money that's coming out of parents'
Oh,
pocketbooks
big time money.
just to
Big
participate.
time.
Talk about this
Yes.
because you see this a lot from the high school level and from the Joku level, right? I mean, these are real
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah,
$3,000 just for a kid to play something that's external to
yes.
their degree.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna talk about the travel leagues, that's a different dynamic. Obviously,
Hmm.
basketball's been doing it with they've been doing it forever, but now it's very prevalent and very relevant in flag football and 7-on-7 for boys.
Hmm.
And I would tell you before, don't waste your money, don't do it. But the way the climate of recruiting now, you have to do it because you have to get maximum exposure if you're an athlete, if you plan on playing at the collegiate level. And I'm not just talking Division 1 anymore. I'm talking about all the way from Division 3 all the way up. Because now with the way the portal is made up or structured, everybody waits for everything to trickle down, right? Division 1 goes down to Division 1 double A to Division 2, Division 3 NAIA, and so on and so on. It's a trickle down effect. And you got to understand, there was 10,000 plus in the portal. 10,000. It will be 6,500 plus left in the portal without a scholarship, without an offer sitting there. So that's 65 people that have experience, and I'm talking about football,
Yeah.
has experience, has the mechanism, has the tools, has been in a Division 1 or Division 2 program, knows how to operate, knows how to do, knows how everything works and does, comparison to a high school kid that has no idea what it's like in college life. So you have an experienced employee about in comparison to a new employee. Who are you gonna hire? That's the question you ask. Who are you gonna hire? And in this case, it's like, who are you gonna get a scholarship to? You gonna give it to somebody with some experience, or you gonna give somebody that has no experience? You gonna give it to somebody with the mama and the daddy cheering on the sideline, acting real crazy, or you give it to somebody that's been in the system, understand how things work?
Yeah.
It's I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this because it's serious. People that have high school students that are trying to get into the college game, you almost have to participate and pay that kind of money, from $30,000 to $33,000 to travel, because you have to maximize your student athlete's exposure now. You have
So
to.
to play, so the tryout is a certain number. To play is a certain number as well. If you're good, you're going to have coaches. You're going to have personal conditioning coaches. You're not going to belong to. I don't want to talk about anybody's bad gym or the crunches or the or the Cal
Yeah,
Fits
yeah,
or the Planet Fitness. Shouts out to them too. But you're going to have specialized position coaches probably as well. This story right here literally says that there are some folks that have started GoFundMe campaigns
yeah. You have to, man. I mean,
just so their
I
just
hate
so
to
their
even say
family
it,
can raise the money to allow their children, they're gifted and talented children, to go out there and play these games. That's crazy, brother.
bro. 3 years ago, completely different. It was a
Okay.
completely different landscape. Now, parents will invest a minimum, a minimum of 10 to 15 thousand in their kid just playing sports outside of their school club sports, outside of playing club sports. Think about that. 10 to 15 thousand, and I'm being very modest. And what I mean by that, I can even break it down. It goes to just a personal trainer that you have to
Mm.
specify, to make that person very special in his craft. The speed training that you want to have because everybody wants things faster, quicker, stronger, and better. Then you got to play on the club team. Now, club teams, if they travel, you're playing a pretty penny. You got to think. You just said $3,000 to be on a travel team. Think about that. 3,000 times four, just to travel and play on the club team is 12,000.
Mm.
There's going to be another 3,000 invested in that person being developed and everything with his personal trainer. Hey, let's not to mention if you have to have a tutor and all that stuff. Everything costs, and it's a maximized cost. So you will spend a minimum of about 15 grand on your kid outside of that school sport just to get developed to hopefully be in the presence of the eyes of a college scout to then offer you something.
Yeah.
And I'm saying
So
hopefully because I know kids that are very talented don't have nothing and aren't going to get anything. It's sad now, man. And in
that
California, well, hold on, I'll let you go. In California, we have it the worst because we don't have any Division 2 schools. We only have one NAIA school. We have 6 or 7 Division III schools, but they're all 50,000 plus, and they offer no scholarships. And then you have the Division I schools, right? Out of the several Division I schools, there's only so many offers they're going to give a year. And now that the portal's in there, they're not giving any to high school kids no more, or very few. So you got to think. It used to be. I used to say, you know what? In a high school, 3 guys would probably get out. That's probably the average. Three to 4 guys would get out.
Yeah.
Now it's probably maybe one.
And the thing I was going to bring up is that just brings back to like the Last Chance U, right? The schools like Laney College, right, where folks who can't come up with this cash, can't come up with this money, can't start a GoFundMe campaign. But again, they got the skill. They want to get out the streets. They want to get on that straight and narrow, and they want to do the right thing. So they go to these D2,
Yeah.
D3, D4, these other locations.
No, you see, you are missing. There's no you're not going D3 or D2 or D1 or any.
Talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it.
You're gonna go to let's say the average kid's like, all right, I'm just gonna go to JUCO and try to make my way out of JUCO.
Yeah.
There's a process for that. Now, what happens when you don't make it out of JUCO? Because let's be honest with you, there's a stigma if you go to JUCO. There's a stigma on your period. They think something's wrong. Either you had bad grades, either you were a disciplinary issue.
Okay.
And that may not be the case. You may just go there. Okay, you go there. JUCO will be so competitive now because now you have an abundance of kids going there. I just told you 6,500 didn't get picked up out of the portal.
Yeah.
They want to still play and get more film. They're going to go down to JUCO. So you got an influence of 6,500 kids that already have experience coming down to the JUCO level to get more film. Where do you think that pushes the high school kids? Out. Or pushes them to, now you're going to be in JUCO for 3 to 4 years now before you can even get a shot. So, man, it's a funnel. It's a funnel, and the funnel's clogged up right now. It's clogged. You have high school kids competing with grown men in the portal trying to vie for a spot. And now we haven't even talked about the money that's thrown into it now. The millions of dollars that's getting thrown into these players and all that. So you really think I think the kid from Indiana, or not Indiana, the Indiana kid, I think he got 4.5 million, right? So you expect a coach to come and recruit your high school quarterback kid, no, regardless of how good it is, when I already have 4.5 million invested in somebody that's doing well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Guess what? You know what? That means I'm not going to recruit that kid. I'm not going to do it. I have to wait and figure out what's going on. And matter of fact, I'm not going to go get that kid. I'm going to go get somebody else that's in the portal. Because I have a budget of 4.5 million to go get somebody else. It's just as good so we don't fall off. I think parents and kids better wake up and realize, if somebody's offering you something, take it and then go. NAI Division III and Division II are now the new JUCO. Because now you're being in a 4-year program. They understand, you at least know that dynamic. Your way to be away from home. You know how college football practice and the way the program is ran in at least a bit of a structure. So you know how that is. Instead of me going to get a kid that's going to be homesick, missing his friends. If he doesn't get an opportunity to play, he's going to complain. And it's not like he's complaining because he wants to play. He just doesn't know any better. He's got to go somewhere where it's cold, out of his element, and have to dog his way all the way up to try to get himself in a situation to play. There's exceptions to the rules, absolutely, but most kids aren't exceptions to the rules. That's why it's called exception to the rule. So we're now in a big funnel where kids aren't going to get a chance to play college ball no more. There's not enough opportunities out there anymore. And California was so disservices because our kids have to travel if they want to play, if they're not a Division I level, or they're willing to pay $50,000 a year. And most of
what's funny about that is folks outside of California don't realize how big this state is. And it takes me 8 hours to get to Montel's house. We in the same state, ladies and gentlemen. On the East Coast, 8 hours, I can go through 5 or 6 states. Right? Yeah. Just to fathom that whole thing right there.
I can visit 50 schools at that time, or 4, I can visit so many schools at that time that play the sport, that have the funding. Here in California, I mean, we're not talking about guys football. We have the situation with flag now, which is the up-and-coming sport. So we don't have a lot of opportunities, man, and it sucks. It really does suck because For me, I can speak for myself. I have to send my kid out of state if he wants to play football. I have to. Now, I'm blessed because I was in a situation where I could afford it. How many
Yeah.
people can afford that?
Yeah, that.
You know, and then how many kids are going to be able to adjust and adapt? That's the hardest thing, sending your kid out of state. I mean, your son's in Oregon, not that
Mhm.
far away, but it's still a different culture than Sacramento, right? Completely different. Corvallis is completely different than Sacramento. He has to be able to adjust. Can you imagine now sending your kid to Kansas?
No. No, right? Not no Sacramento kid, right? And I'm not gonna speak for my
Yeah.
son, but again, but not no Sacramento kid going somewhere like that to Cornhuskers or going to Idaho or Ohio, nothing like that. Just the culture shock, just the environmental shock, and then again, away from family and friends and all that. So I wonder this. And the two questions, one coming from Marvin as well, to gonna bring this up. How are families, how are the athletes dealing with this? And then how are the scouts dealing with all this? Right? Because again, now you got so much
Okay.
stuff around the game that's affecting
Hmm.
these families and these athletes. How does one, because we always talked about, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old dealing with NIL, and now they're coming in hundreds of thousands of dollars for bagging groceries, and just that whole mindset.
Yep.
Now, for the other 90% of kids who maybe not be getting the NIL check, who could still play, gonna leave California and then got to go to Wisconsin. I'm just picking something
Yep.
off the blue here. How do that the family, how do that athlete, and then to Marvin's question, how do the scouts deal with that kind of thing? Man, that's
Okay.
just a lot to deal
From,
with. I
from
I
a
can't even
scout
deal with that at
standpoint,
my age, right?
yeah. From a scout standpoint, I don't care. Sounds
Okay.
crude and rude, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
want the best player I can get to come play at
Come
my
on.
school for that price. So the one thing we got to understand, the time of development is gone. It's gone. I don't have time if I'm a scout and coaching staff on let's say the Miami Hurricanes. I don't have time to bring a kid out from California to help him get adjusted and make him and get him developed to be able to play. He has to already be there and be ready to compete. Because now I have the funds to be able to buy something, go grab somebody that can.
Oof.
And like you
Wow.
said, let's deal with the other part of a scout. Remember, there's a market now, and there's a pricing market on it. Kids are getting millions of dollars now if you're that guy.
Yeah.
If you're that guy. So now you got to deal with the dynamic of one, where do we get the money? How do we fund these kids? How do we maximize the money so we can get that back on TVs and all that stuff? So you got to think, we're not dealing no more with small money no more. We're dealing with basically billions of dollars and hundreds of millions for certain schools. So you got to think of this as a company. I want that maximum employee. I want that. I want that. I want the top tier guy employee I can get, and I'm
Yeah.
going to pay top dollar to get him. So if you look at it from that standpoint, you're going to you can understand what's going on. You How many CEOs do you think care about the guy in the manufacturing plant? Zero.
Come on.
They
Yeah.
say they do, but they can care less. Guy from manufacturing falls off and breaks his arm, he can care less. Elon Musk can care less on his manufacturing line. But guess what? And that's how that manufacturing line is high school. But I guarantee you, Elon Musk cares about that engineer, this development stuff, that guy that has experience, that guy that's dominating in his role. He
Yeah.
cares about him. He knows who he is. That's the one I'm paying 1.5 million. So to answer to the scouting question, I really don't care. I don't care. I'm just getting the best player I can get. Now once he's in my system, maybe I care. But now these kids nowadays, they have so much control of their where they're going. They can transfer out in one day, right? Get their millions and
Yeah.
transfer out one day. And I know that's going to be some
That's
more
kind of
structure
that's
around
kind
that.
of crazy
But
too.
scout,
I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm not a fan of the
I mean,
fall in and fall out of the portal.
well, I mean, you don't have to be a fan of it, but you have to accept it because that's the way the world is working right
True.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that all the time in our industry. We don't like how things change in technology, right? We have a new application we have to use. We don't like it because we're used to the old way.
Make it plain,
We got to
Pastor.
make
Come on,
changes.
make it plain for us. Yeah, that's it.
We got to make change, and then so you got to accept it and learn how to deal with it. Now we know we got the people in the office going to complain about it, but it makes no difference. If the company's going to roll it out, that's what they're rolling out today. NCAA is rolling out. This is how the portal's going. This is how it is. You better learn how to maneuver it and be successful. Let's be and we can just take some examples. Clemson used to be a powerhouse, can't compete right now. North Carolina, fairly good college team with a great coach now that used to be in the NFL, can't compete now with the NIL. We can
Mm-hmm.
see Coach Prime, who everybody loves, Deion Sanders, having a hard time competing because the way this thing is set up and this mechanism is set up, it sucks. Now, let's flip it for the player, and we got to talk about high school players first. High school players, it sucks. You can be the best of the best of the best of the best in your community and won't get a sniff. Won't get a sniff. Only a few, select a few at selected positions are going to get out. And that relationship can't start when you're a senior. You got to start that relationship when you're damn near a freshman or sophomore, so this person can follow you along and make sure they understand you're developing right and grab you. That's high school. Only there's a star mechanism in high school football. It's 5 star to 1 star, right? Only if you're a 5 star, maybe a 4 star, you can get out. If you're none of those things, man, you have a hard time getting out nowadays.
Wow.
So for the kid, that's why I'm telling you, you have to get maximum exposure. You have to get on these travel squads and these travel teams to meet as many coaches as you can and start to develop a relationship with them. Because if you don't, you might be left at the wayside.
Nobody's fault. It just is the way that it is now. Wow. All right, let's keep moving because we coming in hot tonight, boy. 2026, we coming in hot. Listen, let me do some administrative, some groundkeeping here. Again, we everywhere. Let us know where you're coming from as you're watching this, and let me know if the experience is up to expectations because we're doing a lot of different things today. I want to make sure folks coming in from Instagram, folks coming in from Twitter. I'll always call it Twitter, never call it X. Folks coming in from YouTube, horizontal and vertical, Facebook, all that. Just let us know where you're coming in so I can check that. Dan, we're gonna get to your question, brother. I saw it. He says, "Good to see us both." He wants to talk about our views on the transgender athletes. Listen, I already got him lined up. We're gonna get to that in a second, but I want to ask about because I'm really trying to look at the kind of the big stories that are coming out of sports, right? And kind of the not necessarily the big bets, but kind of the big things that are happening. And the next one that I think kind of leads into what we're talking about. Maybe it's just me, but there's so much money to be made in sports.
Ooh.
Come on, right? There's so much money to be made, and now folks have instant access to being able to bet on every single thing. Folks are trying to outlaw it, but listen, how you going to regulate this? That's one conversation. But let's get your thoughts on sports betting and this the story right here coming out of Harvard, the Harvard Gazette. Sports betting worries grows as wagers skyrocket. It's a big time right now. College football. We got the big game coming up. We had a lot of great games already, so everyone's betting on that. We got the playoffs for the NFL. We got a lot of things where a lot of folks who not even on the field can make a lot of money, can lose a lot of money real quick. Your thoughts on
Let's
this?
talk let's talk about the people on the field.
Oh my God! See,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
There he goes.
You cannot tell me, and no one can explain to me that there's no corruption in pro sports.
Oh my God!
Due to betting.
Yep.
I'm sorry, man. We talked about Ohtani a long time ago, and you know my feeling on it. I think he was really betting. I think he was betting. You know, he was gambling on it, and he just the fall guy was his interpreter.
His interpreter,
yeah. I believe on the field there are now more subject to be corrupted than any time ever before because bets can be placed from anywhere, any part of the country, and it's going to be hard to track who's who, what's what, and how they do it, except about the amount of money that's going on. Now, the fact that people just making these bets and people on the outside making bets, I think it's an all-time high because I think now people are going to get addicted to betting. Regardless of what you say. I'm sorry, when I was young, college, very impressionable, you mean to tell me I bet $100 and I just won $1,000? I'm gonna do it again.
Just like that, and you gonna give me some of that money back so I can bet again?
Yeah.
Right?
And there's so much information weighing on it now that you can find online that these fantasy leagues are blown up that's been gambling on the side. Now you just have these apps and people can easily have access to it. Is it a problem? It is a problem. Does NCAA have a regulation about it? No. Does the NFL have some type of format about it? No, if they catch you, they catch you. If they don't, they don't.
Mm.
It's a problem, man. Me and you right now can get on our phone right now and make a bet
Real quick.
real quick. No, not a
Again,
problem.
and we
Get
can
on.
make a. I've never done it, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I could put like a five. I'm thinking like a $5 bet down, and the DraftKings or the parlay, whatever the app is, will
Well,
gift me.
hold on. I think it's a bigger problem than that. High school
Okay.
kids just got their financial aid money. Let's get college kids. I'm sorry, college kids just got their financial aid money.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, more than 15% of them guys are gonna be betting. People are gonna be betting. It's an opportunity. I just got free money. I know all this information. I'm gonna bet on the game.
Yeah.
Because now you can bet on the Star Spangled Banner. You can bet on who kicks the ball off. You can bet on anything. So it makes it attractive for not only people that don't know anything about the sport, to people that are very expertise and understand the sport. $5, $10, $15, $100. You mean to tell me? I bet you, I guarantee you, if we did
There
a
he go.
poll
See,
across
look at
all
him. There he go
colleges,
betting, ladies and gentlemen. He over there betting me right now.
well, I'm just saying, well, I promise you, I
Yeah.
bet you if we did a landscape of all these colleges and said, how many of these people are betting, it'll be a large amount. And then you got to that's not the point. How many student athletes are betting?
Yeah.
There's where your biggest issue is, because, as we know, gambling can become an addiction. It can
Hmm.
be, because you can get addicted to the fast life and everything that's going on there. I think we're at a scary time, man, because there've already been small instances that we don't really hear about, like the guy said, as I said, about point shaving in basketball, NCAA basketball. Point shaving here and there, point shaving here and there. You mean to tell me it's not going to trickle all the way up or trickle all the way down to these college students and even high school students, to be honest with you? So it's the issue, man. It's the problem, and I don't know how to. I don't know how to curb that. I don't even know where they begin to try to figure that out.
I mean, we've heard and seen the stories of
Yeah,
well-known
Chauncey
coaches.
Billups. Chauncey
That's what I'm saying.
Billups
Chauncey
gambling.
Billups, right? We don't know what's really going to jump off of that, but the allegations of well-known folks that are either sitting players, resting players, or betting on the games themselves when they're part
Exactly.
of the game. The guy who I named my first kid after, Michael, right? I mean, he was part of that. He was betting. Pete
So
Rose, who needs to get in the Hall of
how do we
Fame, was
know?
betting.
I got a question. So how do we know when they're in on it and when they're not in on it? How do we know that
Mm.
Steve Kerr, when he rests Draymond Green,
I know
Steph
Draymond's
Curry,
part of it.
and
Listen,
Butler?
yeah,
I mean, I'm being serious. I'm like, how do we know if they're a part of it or not? And I'm not questioning the man integrity. I'm just saying, I'm giving an example. How do we know? We don't know. How do we know when the Lakers rest LeBron or they rest Luka, and then they get blown out when there was a game they thought they were supposed to win? Right? I mean, man, now, I mean, you have eyes on top of eyes on top of eyes trying to figure out what's going on, because this gambling thing is crazy. And like I said, we didn't even touch the surface on the fantasy stuff. It's bizarre, man. That FanDuel and that other
and
one,
it's
whatever they got,
yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
it's
Yeah,
almost like it's pressed on us, right? Because again, you log on.
yeah.
You watch ESPN or you watch whatever, and they got their own segments. ESPN Bet, they got the
Yep.
FanDuel. So I mean, they're encouraging us to go out there and do it. So you don't have to go to
Celebrity
Vegas.
endorsements, right? Celebrity endorsements. Kevin Hart does it.
Yeah,
LeBron's endorsing it. So you're right. Me personally, man. I mean, someone told me Vegas is a ghost town now. It's a ghost town because,
yeah.
but
I was just there a couple weeks
technology
last
is,
week.
is,
Yeah,
is able us to bet anywhere. So
yeah,
why do I need to go to Vegas to sports bet?
yeah.
You know, I know there was a thing with California with the Indian casinos. They wanted to do sports betting and they declined it. Unfortunately, sports betting is already on their phones now. They don't care if they go there or not. It's already here. So why wouldn't you allow Indian casinos to start doing sports betting? Because it's all the kids and people are already doing it. So I think the Gamblers Anonymous hotline is going to be popping and popping and popping for the next couple of years, as long as all this stuff keeps going on. But I mean, we're kind of in a scary world because everybody wants to get the get rich scheme, the get rich quick scheme going
Yeah.
on. And I think that more kids between the ages of probably 18 and 27 are probably betting at the highest rate we've ever seen ever, being able to
And
utilize these
so
apps.
I think this is going to be probably the next conversation that behind the scenes, so we've talked a lot about mental health. We've talked a lot about the transgender issue, but I think this right here, honestly, is going to be something that's going to bubble up. That's going to be a problem for a lot of people because, again, it's an addiction. People are thinking they can get over it. People think that they can come up, they can bet on just like you were saying, the Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl. Who's going to sing it? Are they going to flub it or whatever? But
Hmm.
just when it overtakes you, I don't know if we as a society are putting enough measures in place to help folks. Right, just by putting that
Okay.
lower thirds, that little small fine print saying, if you think you got a gambling problem, we'll call this number. I really think that this is going to bubble up into something that's going to affect folks mentally, financially, their family life, all of that thing. I don't know if I'm overstepping my bounds or
No,
overthinking this, but again, it's now so pervasive that again, every
but
time, like I said, we log on to ESPN, boom, they got their own ESPN bet section. Every
but
time I fire up my phone, there's prize picks. I'm worried
hey,
about this, man.
but nobody wants to stop the monster just bringing in $1 billion.
Oh my
Nobody
god.
wants to stop Ozempic. You can have people
Oh
that are
my god.
against it, but they're not stopping Ozempic. So why would the people that are these casinos or the people that are backing these betting apps or these betting, why would they want to stop it? It's bringing them in $1 billion of revenue. That before, remember, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that wasn't there.
Yeah.
I have something that's bringing me a billion. Think $1 billion. I think they said FanDuel brings in like 10 billion a year. That's Would you stop your $10 billion company because you care about people's welfare? They don't
No,
care,
I'm a
man. It's all
capitalist,
about the
brother.
money,
Listen,
Doc.
no, I'm a capitalist, and I'm a real capitalist. So you're right.
Yeah, they don't care, man, and they don't care about, like you said, if our society is ready or not. It's here, and it's not going anywhere. They have the power now to be lobbyists. They
mm,
can go in there. They got the power now to change the laws if they want to change, or support the laws they want to select, and dismiss of the ones that we think that are great for our humanity. There's a lot of bad things that they just don't care, man, and it's unfortunate, but that's the law. That's the land we live in now, unfortunately.
Marvin saying no one pays attention to those ads for help. All right, we
No,
just move on. We've become blind to them as a society. But I'm gonna mark the words. Put a marker in this right here. January 14th, 2026. We had this conversation on Team No Sleep. The world need to wake up. And
better.
and this is just we're just talking about the U.S. We haven't even gone global yet, right? We haven't talked
Well,
about
and
oil
and the
money.
Olympics are coming up, right? And the
Olympics
Olympics
is
are coming
coming
up.
up. Olympics is coming up.
And I can only imagine. You got to think. They're. This is crazy that you just said that. They're trying to complete the bullet train from Las Vegas to L.A. before the Olympics come. That's coming because they want bets, not because they want to host people and all. They want to be able to host bets, gambling. Number one thing they want to be able to do: get to Vegas to get there within an hour, 2 hours. That bullet train, and they can be able to do their bets and go and do the Vegas nightlife and enjoy those things. But the main source is betting, gambling. So, I mean, like you say, internationally, it's coming. It's coming big time, and I think Gamblers Anonymous is going to grow. I would say
Mm.
invest in Gamblers Anonymous because I think that's going to grow as something big time. And I think I hate to say this, man, and I'm just a realist. I think criminal situations are going to be come up even more. It's no more, like I said, it's no longer the street betting before, like you could bet and all those things. And I think the underworld or the underbelly used to control a lot of betting. Now it's going to be corporations. Corporations control that. Um, and I believe that they're merciless. Okay, you can't pay us, and you have a house. Guess what? We're taking your house. You can't pay us in your car. We want to take your car. I think we will start to see situations like that, but on a grander scale because corporates are now running it.
Yeah.
They just got to figure out a way to enforce it.
Is it?
Max out your credit card ain't enough, right? That ain't enough. We're gonna take some other stuff because you owe us, you still owe us money.
It's interesting you bring that up. I was just, as you know, in Vegas at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, and there were sessions on. I sent you a screenshot of one of the sessions I was sitting in about sports, entertainment,
Hmm.
and finance and things like that. And that's literally what was one of the statements that was brought up by somebody that was on the panel. It's almost getting to the point where it's out of hand. It's almost
Yeah.
getting to the point where you can't catch up with this train, as you're calling it, because the corporations are now starting to get involved. The corporations are making money. They're getting the sponsorships. One in particular, I'm not going to talk. NBA players that are sponsored by certain brands. Again, I don't want to throw anybody too far under the bus. NBA players that are sponsored by major brands, and they're starting to integrate with the gambling institutions as well. And when you
No,
start
I'll throw him
dealing
on the
with,
bus. LeBron's one of the heads of it right now. He is one of the heads. He's on FanDuel. Him and Kevin Hart are on FanDuel every time. They get money off of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he owns a piece of it, or they own a piece of it, or whatnot.
I should find
But
out.
athletes,
I
athletes,
should find
athletes
out.
are part of the problem because they do endorse it.
Yeah.
ESPN is one of the biggest faults of it because they endorse gambling now. Bro, that's just like, man, look, we going to a party and we endorsing cocaine. We're gonna endorse cocaine.
God, dog.
We'll endorse cocaine every time we get money at our party. But you know why? Because we want to get you addicted. And once we got you addicted, guess what? We're gonna get all your money. Now, if I can do that to one person, I can do that to 10. If I can do it to 10, I can do it to 100. And if I can do it to 100, I can do it to millions. That's what this gambling is doing. Funny, man.
I should point at both of us. We having this conversation, right? I'm not going to just but see,
I'm just
but
saying.
here we go again. Think about it. No one's, and again, I'm gonna tap us on the shoulder here, right? No one's having this conversation about this sensitive issue, but this, with the montage of what the team No Sleep is for 2026 moving forward, again, two brothers sitting in the barbershop and we just hashing it out. We having these hard conversations.
You know when it will become a problem? You know when it's
No.
going to become a problem? When there's an elected official or
Ooh.
there's somebody in a prominent position
Yeah.
that is in that situation. Not just them or their child. Somebody they are close to is going to be in that situation. That's when they'll become a problem. Just like crack cocaine wasn't a problem. They didn't care if it was in our neighborhood with gambling. Now they met. What's the thing they take now? Not the methamphetamine, but
Fentanyl.
the fentanyl now is an
Fentanyl.
issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue. Not just a drug, we got to stop it. We don't care if it's over there. And that's before. Gambling was only in Vegas. Gambling was always there. We didn't really care on the national level. We didn't really care to get involved. Government's going to get involved now that it's going to be on a national and global scale. And when it becomes a problem for one of them, that's when they'll start caring about it. And then they're going to want to put in these laws and these structures because of them. And again, it'll be just like gun control. They're going to be they will be too powerful to stop.
It's coming. It's coming quick. So, I mean, I don't like it, but it's coming quick. All right. What's up, folks? I see out Strict City. I see you, brother. I don't know if you're still over there on IG, man. You see what we doing. We horizontal, we vertical, we in all these platforms. Listen, y'all, if y'all got questions, if you want to engage with the conversation, me and Montel are here for you. Put a Q in the comments so we can have that conversation. But otherwise, we just going to keep going. All right, Dan, we're gonna get into it now, brother. We're gonna get into the conversation that you brought up.
Yep.
We talked about this too, brother. We groundbreaking. Got y'all. We talked about transgender before the last Olympics and said y'all better pay attention. We talked about transgender during the whole athletes in swimming, right? Athletes in track and field. Now there's some other sports that's just jumping off. Boxing, right? We've had these conversations over the years. It's no longer at your local people's court. It's no longer Judge Judy, ladies and gentlemen. It's no longer at your local appellate court. It's now in front of Supreme Court.
Yep.
Justices are considering sex definition laws for transgender athletes in sports. We've always said someone in authority has to put their foot down and make the decision, so there's not a whole bunch of wishy-washy going back and forth. Not everyone's going to be happy, but there has to be some type of legislation, someone that helps the NCAA get out of their own way. I don't know what this is going.
Before you go
what you got, brother?
NCAA is some punks for not addressing it themselves.
Yeah, well, see, okay, I was going to say that. I was going to get into that, but you said it first. Go ahead.
They're weak. They're weak. They cowards because they didn't get in front of this and be able to set the tone on how they wanted to do it. Now, I don't know what the Supreme Court is going to judge on it. But to Dan's question, I'm still against it. I think it's going to have to be somehow three lanes, and I'm gonna and it's going to have to be men, women, and then transgender. And it's crazy because in this legal battle, they were talking about Title IX. How is this going to affect Title IX? Which, if people don't understand what Title IX is, it's the equal number of scholarships for women and men at the collegiate sports level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where does this fall? Like, where does this fall? If a person is a transgender, where do they fall? If they're a man identifying woman, or do they count towards men or do they count towards women for scholarships? It's going to be crazy how they judge on this. And I'm interested to see how much influence NCAA, with all the mighty dollars they got right now, how are they going to influence this decision?
How are their lobbies going to speak up about
absolutely,
this?
absolutely. And you got to also understand, regardless what decision they make, everybody's going to be in an uproar.
Yeah.
You keep it the same, you don't do it, LGBTQ community is going to be upset, and anybody that supports them is going to be super upset. If they say they accept them, anybody on the traditional way of sports being men and women are going to be super upset. There's a no win-win, but there has to be some structure set.
Exactly.
There's no win. It's just there has to be structure set.
I was going to leave it at that. Yeah. There's no win-win.
No, my thing is carries and when it goes down to the lower level. Like, we have junior high athletes now identifying as something as a different gender. We have high school kids. We already know that this is how this whole thing came up. There's high school kids that are identifying it as a different gender. We saw, I think it was San Jose State? Remember, the whole volleyball team said, no, we're not.
It was San Jose State. Yeah, they boycotted either the game or the whole season. Yeah.
How are you going to rob women of their achievements by being a biological man transitioning into a woman? Like,
say that one more time. No, we're not going to gloss over that. Say that statement one more, because that's where I think you and I are fundamentally at on this particular topic.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not just because we're fathers of daughters, but say that again.
Period, man.
Right. Again. So like I'm saying it because I don't want to assume.
As a man, you let a gorilla go in a weightlifting contest. Like, hold on, that's a gorilla. Shit. Hell no, he naturally just biologically stronger. So I'm saying, how we as a society are going to allow them to rob women of their achievements, of their sports scholastic achievements? Those young ladies have worked so hard to get to where they're in, trying to be, and trying to be successful. Now you have a person that has a different biological makeup, and I don't care how many hormonal drugs you take. You still have a biological different makeup, and now you can just say you identify as them, and you come in here and you just take over the sport. And it does, and we can see it because we saw it in swimming. The young man that identified a woman won the college championship. The woman that identified the man that identified for the woman in boxing beat the brakes off that other girl in that UFA spot.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a physical difference in these athletes competing, and we're robbing these women athletes of their success and their achievements they're trying to get by simple fact that you're identifying as a woman and you're taking hormone drugs. Like, it's touchy, man, and no one likes to talk about it. But I think you just have to address the elephant in the room. I don't agree with it. I don't. But I mean, I also believe there needs to be a lane for them to compete in. We talked about this before as well. There needs to be better provide a structure for them to compete in. Because
we talked about this before it was a sexy conversation.
Before it was even fancy,
Yeah,
before they
right.
even talked about it on TV, it was discussing. So I still stand where I stand. I don't see any difference in it. I believe they should be able to earn scholarships, but I do believe colleges and federal government have to set aside a fund for them to develop those sports for transgenders in those arenas. Mm-hmm. And also have to turn those in high school. And if it happens in college, it's going to have to happen in high school.
Yes, it's got to trickle down. It's got to trickle down. And so I think we should say this too, because so I feel the exact same way. But I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is just a good evolution. This is where we are as a society today.
It's not a bad thing, but it's going to cost a lot of money. So when every time it costs people in their pocketbooks, they look at it as a bad thing.
Take some of that gambling money. You'll be all right. Take
hey man,
that.
It is what Texas Tech just spent $25 million on NIL money. you should be able to carve out 25 million to be able to fund these sports, right? For people to be able to play at every
Yes.
different level. I'm just wondering now. It hasn't trickled in the professional realm as far as the major sports,
No.
but how is that going? When does that happen, and when does this go to law? I'm gonna tell you right now. You got an ex NBA player that identifies as a woman trying to go to the WNBA. It'll be plastered all over the news and everywhere else because there's money involved.
Yeah.
No one
That'd be
talks about it so
groundbreaking
much right now
news right
because there's
there.
not a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
So it's got. This is gonna be a big decision, a really huge decision. I hope Dan. I'm sorry, Dan. I hope you have a comment on that. But that's the way I feel about the situation.
Yeah. I'm in alignment. I'm in agreement. Dan, appreciate the question. Dan, also congratulations on giving your first TEDx talk. I didn't get a chance to see all of it. I think you said it's going to get posted soon. Let me know. So congratulations on that. That's dope for sure. Ernest got a question up here. He said, "Our thoughts on blacks for Trump, brother." That's the first time I said that man's name in. I don't.
Oh,
I'm not even. Hold on. We're not going. We gonna deviate
you want
right
to get the
now.
political talk?
Yeah, we not gonna deviate. That's the first. I ain't never said that man's name in this studio. I normally call him by his number 47, but the fact that he is flipping off our auto workers in the Ford plant the other day in Detroit. That just tells the
I,
character of that
that tells
individual,
a big story. Yeah, that
right?
tells a big story.
If the president of these United States is walking around telling people to f themselves and he's flipping them the bird, that's not my guy. I'm just gonna leave it at
And
that.
while we're in that situation, man, God rest the soul of the young lady that was killed in Minnesota by that ICE officer with that situation. I do believe, I know number 47
Miss Good, yeah.
supports what happened. I don't think killing any of our U.S. citizens in any situation is the right thing to do. So God bless her family and them, and I pray for them. Hope they can get over this. She left 2 kids behind, I believe. Not a good look for Mr. Number 47, like you said, flipping off our hardworking people because
Yeah.
they disagree with his ways. I don't think that's the way to handle something when you're in a position of leadership.
So
Can you imagine your CEO flipping you off because your employees have a disagreement on what they want to do?
sometimes he don't. Sometimes he may want to after the conversation we had. But I tell you what, you know that we scratch your nerves right now because I see everything and I see we just got a couple of dislikes on our conversations that are coming in from the stream. So we at least
Well, okay,
we
I
we,
want
we
to explain.
tickling
Can
nerves,
somebody
right? So
explain to
and
me
I love it.
why you support why you support some of his actions and his ways? I'm not gonna say he does everything wrong, but he doesn't do everything right either. And I would think that you could disagree. We could have a civil conversation because we disagree with him. I don't. You don't have to say. I don't have to be a Trump supporter
Hmm.
in order to have an opinion about Trump. Just like they weren't Obama supporters, but they always had an opinion about that situation. So I believe we're all intelligent enough to have a healthy conversation to why or why not you support the
Yes.
person, or why you don't support his actions. Period. I
Yeah.
particularly don't support a lot of his actions. And if anybody on our platform that supports an ICE officer shooting that lady in the face, might as well just get the fuck off.
Done.
Straight up.
Done. And feel free as well if y'all can either leave or you can have the courage to leave a comment so we can have the dialogue. This is an open forum. We would love to have that conversation about you as well instead of just sitting behind a
Yeah, I'm not
thumbs up
running
or a
because
thumbs down.
you dislike my
Yeah.
comments. I'm not running from that, and I won't run from it. If you agree with that ICE officer shooting that woman in the face, leaving her kids without a mother, then you can get off the platform, or you can be man enough or woman enough to challenge it, and tell me why you do support it, and I'll argue with you all day, every day. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that in no form or fashion.
I don't think anybody else out there in these internet streets is offering that up. And Marvin, yeah, look, he says, why bring him up? He's never laced him up. He's never been in the locker room. It was brought up by the community, so we talking about it, brother. So again, we equal opportunity here, and that's why we brought it up. So it's all good in these streets. Appreciate whomever those couple of folks were that did die, but it's all, you know what? Now that we're talking about we talking about different folks. Let's talk about diversity.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
let's roll with
diversity
it.
in sports, right?
Yeah.
shouts out to the U.S. because the U.S. is trying to do something, and there at least is a conversation about it. But it's still, as we come up on these Winter Olympics, it's still a problem. Why is Erin Jackson still kind of the first black woman to win an Olympic winter gold in an individual in a I can't even speak in an individual sport, but that's the only person. We still need to have some more folks out there that are doing these things, and the conversation is happening, which I think is again is though as it relates to the United States. But where are the athletes? Where is the diversity in the athletes that are competing at this higher level? Not just in basketball, but I
Mhm.
want to see some more folks in some of these other sports too. In the ice skating, in the figure skating, in the curling. That's my new sport, curling, y'all. So I want to see some folks, some different folks. Uh, I want to see the whole diaspora of the United States participating in all of these sports. And I don't know if it starts just because at young we're not presented and we don't have the access to those kinds of sports. Right, growing up, I didn't have
Mhm.
access to lacrosse. I didn't have access to like a hockey or some or skating or something like that. We had access to baseball, basketball, and football. The fact that the conversation is happening is a good thing. But your thoughts on this again, because now this is the press Democrat that's pulling this story up here, and we need to get a little bit more of a
I, I,
cross section of the United States on our team USA.
I think diversity should be discussed in every realm and every aspect of everything that we do. But
Hmm.
diversity of thought and diversity of people is always good because of that causes innovation. We already know that.
Yeah,
So why for us, you're right. I think access is one of the bigger issues, but I also believe that a lot of them don't invest in it, right? Like you can go to some of these affluent communities like in Colorado, they invest in their skiers and their snowboarders and all that stuff because they have access to it. I don't know if African Americans or Latino Americans or Asian Americans are attracted to those sports, and if they are, I don't think there's a lot of investment in them for these sports. So that needs to grow. Popularity, communication, access, and investment. That's how we get more and more in there for diversity as far as competing in sports. But I mean, we can look at diversity across any spectrum:
yeah,
ownership, coaches, so on and so on. I mean, I'm sure if I saw a black man teaching hockey and encouraged me to go hockey, I probably would like, let me go try it out. I see somebody that looks like me doing it.
yeah,
I can do it. I think I can do it too. I don't think we have that realm just yet. But also, let's not be naive. Those sports they exclude us from being in those sports as well, right? They don't build like we said. There's no investment. They don't build ice skating rings in
yeah,
neighborhoods like that. They're
yeah.
not.
They're
There's
not
not
they're
an
not
ice
in the
skating
hood,
rink in
right?
Houston.
They're not in our
Yeah,
neighborhood.
there's nothing in Houston. There's not one in Houston to develop more hockey players. Those things aren't there, so there's no investment there. Um, and I think that needs to be talked about as well. How can we do that? But you be damn sure the sports that we are good at, there's investment in it.
Yeah,
In Dominican Republic, they invest in baseball, so there's many baseball fields and outlets for kids to play. In America, we invest in basketball and we invest in football fields all the time for these kids to develop and be able to make more. So when there's an investment, we'll get more diversity. But until then, I think they like it the way it is. They like it to be very, very exclusive.
investment
And
at
what I mean
all
by they,
levels.
what I mean by they, hold on, but let me define what I mean by they. Because
Yeah,
everybody, oh, what do you mean by that? They, I mean corporations, sponsorships like it to be exclusive. Coca-Cola likes it to be
mm,
exclusive.
okay,
Coca-Cola likes to advertise to a certain demographic in a certain way. They like to be exclusive to certain sports that they're going to sponsor somebody. Just like racing or auto racing.
yeah.
I know they got the one brother that's Michael Jordan supporter, but very many brothers doing that, and we don't buy a lot of products they advertise on there, right? They're really exclusive about who they want to support.
Yeah.
So
Well, the only reason that that driver is because of the owner of the club of the team
yeah,
is Michael Jordan. And so I want to go back to the investment piece, and interesting to think about it. Yeah, you talk about the investment at the corporate level, investment at that higher level, but also investment, I think, at the parent level, right? Because you
yes,
think about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods set
yep.
set the whole standard, and he didn't have a lot of backing. It was his daddy. It was his daddy
And
that
the
was doing
Williams
that.
sisters, and the
I
Williams
was gonna
sisters,
say,
and the
yeah,
Williams sisters.
the
Yeah.
Williams sisters, right?
Hmm.
There wasn't a whole lot of access in Compton for little black girls playing tennis. It was daddy out there on the court with them every single day. So I'm one finger out, three fingers back at us. as a society and as people, right? We need to invest as well. If our kids see that they want to have access to the soccers and the
Here-
hockeys and the tennises and the golf and things like that.
Here's here's a good. I don't mean to interrupt. Here's a good analogy though. Will Smith's a billionaire. Will
Yeah,
Smith just did a million acting as the Williams sister's father,
right.
and he made millions of dollars off of that. He, in particular, why haven't you donated and made and built tennis courts all over the place to get young ladies or young men to be able to, get involved in these types of things? I think you're absolutely right. We, as a society, as a community, need to start investing in our own to be able to give them access and accessibility to these sports. Period. We have to. I mean, if we want the next Tiger Woods, guess what? One of us needs to invest in the golf course that allows young African Americans to outlet to be able to go there, travel, and play, right? Not just the local 9-hole course that the grass is all dusty and dirt.
Yeah,
I mean, it needs
come
to be
on.
somewhere. It needs to be somewhere where it's very exclusive for them to be able to get an opportunity to do it. Um,
Where you
and
feel
it's hard. I
special
mean,
when you
I
walk
admit
on the
it. It's
green. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's hard, but we're not no longer in 1960. 1966. We're in 2026. We have billionaires now, billionaires, known billionaires that they made it amongst they made it in the entertainment world. I don't. We shouldn't be letting them off the guard because billionaires in other realms give back.
Yeah.
They give back. They invest in the squaring, equestrian and stuff like that. They invest in all that stuff to make sure the kids have an outlet. We invest in basketball courts and giving back shoes. We need to do better, man. We as a community, if we want to see ourselves in those situations, we have to do better. And that's just an honest reflection of ourselves in the mirror. We need to look in the mirror really, really strong and be like, hey, can we do more? I'm not in that situation. I don't have millions of dollars, but I damn sure I wish I was in that multi-million-dollar bracket or billionaire bracket. I would give back. I would build things that we need. I would build a damn golf course with a basketball court, with a damn computer lab and an
All
engineering
that.
team teaching. All that in one. And we have the resources to do it. Certain people have the resources to do it, but they don't want to give back. I mean,
And hire folks from the neighborhood to actually run it, so they got some ownership in it as well, right? I mean, it's very
yeah,
simple.
man.
It really is quite simple
It's
to
very
do.
simple. It's very simple conceptually. It's very simple conceptually. Like me and you agree all the time, but it's not. They refuse to do it. Kanye West is a billionaire, man. You had a shoe factory. You was running Adidas for a minute. How
Yeah,
come you didn't go back to your native Chicago and build these things for your kids now to not only learn what engineering do with Adidas, but now they can build your own and you can just divest from Adidas and make your own shoe, like things like that. But he'll think about making an album or making a fool out of his wife or wearing spiked shit and doing all these
yeah,
dumb things
yeah,
to
yeah.
bring attention to himself instead of bringing attention to yourself. It's like, let me go ahead and invest in my community and do different things. Dr. Dre's the same way. Bro, you're a billionaire. You made beats with the eardrums and you one of the best musicians ever. Yeah, not only open a museum lab, but once you open somebody who knows how to fix a board so they can become an engineer and an electrician. Once you ask somebody that knows how to be able to develop their sound, once you invest in those things and not just at USC so your daughter can get in, but also in random places, people are always gonna back them. I just don't get the concept of why we don't want to give. They want to hoard, but they don't want to give back. And you can't die with that money, bro. You can't. Your kids are set up for the rest of their life. What about the rest of the money? You can't live with it, so let's give it back. It's funny. You know what's funny? We snarl when we hear about some Harris or heiress, excuse me,
Mm.
left billions of dollars to a cat, right? She left millions of dollars to a cat or something crazy. You never hear that in our communities, black and brown. Leave it to something that's sanctuary. They'll leave it to some pet facilities, all that. We never give back, and I think that person left it to a cat should do better. They should leave it to the community. Let them do something different or be something special, or leave it to our folks to do something. Bro, we just got to do better, man. As a society, it just sucks. It sucks right now.
And I will say that's the call to action, and rightfully so. There are folks that got this cash, got this money that are doing things that they don't have to publicize everything. So we don't know
Yeah,
everything, but
no.
and it doesn't have to be a social media post. It doesn't have to be on the news. It doesn't have to be all that. But the ends are
Okay,
meeting.
why shouldn't we know everything? Why? How come we can't know? How come we can't
Well,
know
again,
the
so but
misdemeanors that
where I'm going is, the ends of meeting for some of these individuals. Still, if you were doing something, that would trickle down and the word would get out. You don't have to be
Yes.
the one that pushes the information out. But listen, again, yeah, go to some of these inner cities, go to some of these suburbs, go to some of the go to these locations where folks are in distress, and help
Well,
some more folks out just
I
a little
agree.
bit more.
One, and I think let's do more than just open up a basketball gym. I know Westbrook and those guys open up basketball gyms and gymnasiums all the time. That's great. Don't get me wrong. But add something to that basketball gym. Like ask them. Why don't we teach them kids how to be management, or how to do
Hmm.
something, how to be
Ownership.
something in that
Want some
world? Because
ownership, brother?
everybody can't be on the court,
Yeah.
right? But you could be a front office person. We're gonna show you from the beginning how to do front office work. Like we always talk about all the time. How can these things intertwine and be very successful and work? And I think it starts with, like you said, with that initial investment. Quit just building basketball courts and giving back shoes, man. We need to do more. Hire some, show these kids how to be shoe engineers, how to create their own shoes.
Hmm.
And all of it's a tax write-off. That's the part that kills me. It's a freaking write-off for all of them.
Do more, y'all. Do better.
I,
Did Dre open a school in Compton? I believe he did. So yeah, I think with Marvin the Sands, I think, and again, keep
yeah,
going, brother.
yeah,
Keep going, right?
yeah, keep
Again,
going. Why open
don't
one school in
stop.
Compton? Open one in South Central. Open one in Sacramento. Open one in San Diego. Open more and more and more and more that you can do. Jalen Rose has an academy in there. Open more. LeBron has academy back in Ohio, where he's from. But you could do more because we need more. I'm not saying this is doing. We need more. We need more. We need more. So do more if you have the resources.
I would just say that I wish that there were more folks doing some of these things than just Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Scott, if you don't know, you need to know, is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who
Mm-hmm.
is a multi-billionaire from the settlement, and she alone has given hundreds of millions of dollars to not
Yep.
just charities and institutions, but specifically HBCUs.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, you
To
got to
build their
name on it, but
programs up.
listen, she cutting real checks. She cutting liquid checks,
Mm-hmm.
and she's giving it specifically to those underserved communities, underserved institutions, and saying, take this money and go do something big. I would
Yeah.
really like to see again the black millionaires and billionaires doing a little something more as well.
And the
Not
Latinos
call,
doing more for their community as well. I think,
yeah,
and the Asian community doing more for. I mean, I think it's. I don't know where we got this stigma where it's not okay to give back. It is. It's great to give back because now people can see somebody do it and they can learn something. I
yeah.
was talking to somebody the other day, and I want our community to know this. When's the last time you seen a teen center?
My goodness, but I grew up on the teen center back in Japan. Yeah, back when I was 12 years old. But yeah,
Now
he
tell me
said the
now, when's
teen
the last
center.
time you seen a teen center? When's the last time you heard your kids talk about a teen center?
Wow.
There's YMCA's, but that's very segmented out there. When's the last time we saw a teen center where kids not only can learn sports, but they can learn all these other different things as well? Crafts, art, artistically, everything. When's the last time we've seen teen centers? No one invests in those things. And now let's give a shout. Steph Curry's doing a lot with his things about encouraging reading and all that stuff. He does a great job in the city of Oakland. But even him, he's about to get another big contract. He should do, in my opinion, do more. Why aren't you doing replicating that in Charlotte? Why aren't you replicating that in
Hmm.
Houston? Why aren't you partnering with these other people and let's replicate something that we can do very, very well to give our people an upper hand and let them know something else. Everything isn't basketball. Everybody can't shoot basketball. Everybody can't play football. But guess what? There's jobs all through there the people can do. Graphic artists, people that want to be, do management. People want to do sound check and be sound art. People want to learn how to do the camera. People that want to take pictures. There's so many jobs that are incorporated within these sports worlds that we should be able to be qualified from and learn from a young partner to help you fall in love with it and do it. All it is takes that investment to give back.
That's all it takes. All right, man. Let's start bringing this plane in. Well, I shouldn't say that because I got a story.
Don't say that,
Well, yeah,
man.
because I got a story that kind of relates to some negativity. That man, okay, I got
Let's
to come
start
up.
wrapping it up. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's just wrap it on up. Let's start wrapping it up.
Oh, okay, and I'll do this, and then I'll go back to my plane. Well, okay, I didn't already open my mouth. Y'all pray for me. Why is we got some folks that are trifling out there robbing Greg Biffle's home after he has died in the plane crash. So days after the man and his whole family died. This is just ignorant. This is stupid. Why are people doing this? Why are folks breaking into this man's home? No one's there because they all unfortunately passed away in the plane crash. And this Friday they're supposed to have the service for him and his family, and now they got to deal. The extended family has to deal with this. Come on, let's just. I'm just gonna stop and we not have to go into it in detail. Just say let's do better. Let's just do better, folks. Um,
I mean,
it just makes no
terrible.
no sense to me, and we'll leave it at that. Mr. Schreiber is in the building. He says boys and girls clubs have been successful across all races and nationalities. Very true. Good to see you here, Roger,
Absolutely.
as well, man.
When they're
But
there,
I mean,
when they're there, yeah, when
there
they're
we
there,
go.
they've
That's
been
what I'm gonna say.
successful.
Well, we need to keep that going. We need to keep that momentum going.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've been in the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, they are the truth and a
yeah.
fantastic organization. So yeah, appreciate you for bringing that up. All right, man. Last thing I wanted to talk about, unfortunately, Elton Campbell. Sad story about him. Passed away from drowning. This is a statement I want folks to know. It was found out today that he did have a life jacket on, but it was only partially zipped up.
Mm-mm.
If you're gonna go out there, I mean, if there's any lining to this, yeah, even if you can swim good, if you're a strong swimmer, make sure you have that life vest on. But it came out today and found out that he had it on, but it wasn't fully zipped up. So that's why he was pulled by the current and unfortunately uh, died in Florida a couple of weeks ago. So
Man,
man,
condolences to his family. Condolences
definitely,
to his family.
definitely. Good to see. I know
So
you sent me the story about Corrupt. I'm glad to see that he's back on his way, going back home. So he's doing better. That
you
other
know,
story that you sent me, we found out that wasn't real. That was fake
yeah,
news.
that wasn't real. But I will say, did you hear the story about the Michigan coach interviewing for the San Diego Chargers offensive coordinator position?
Yeah, yeah.
I
A
don't
whole
know if
lot of
I
stories about coaching going on right now, right? My guy
that
Tomlin.
that
But this
yeah,
one, go ahead.
Tomlin got let go. I mean,
Yeah,
Tomlin let go. He resigned.
yeah,
And I understand Harbaugh. I think he got let go.
yeah.
Uh, there's questions if the Green Bay coach is going to be there, LaFleur. I think if he's still going to be around or not. I believe that first of all, let's start with Mike Tomlin, man. What a probably the most influential, one of the most influential coaches, and
Yeah.
definitely one of the most influential African American coaches. Probably number
Hmm.
three. We all, obviously Grambling. Eddie Robinson is the most influential one
Yeah.
that we've ever had. Tony Dungy, and then probably Tomlin. Um, and Tomlin believed in giving opportunities. All these other Brian Flores and all those guys come up under Tomlin, just getting these
True.
opportunities to kind of get in room. So I wish people, whoever is that next leader within the league, I hope they take a page from him and be able to do that. I hope Brian Flores gets an opportunity to coach. I hope
Could
that,
be. Could be.
yeah, it happens a lot. I think we just have to acknowledge that, right? He needs to get his roses, man, because he's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people.
And more
Um,
folks, I haven't
and
seen
that's
a
just
lot of
what.
negativity coming out since Coach Tomlin said he was going to step down. I see some haters probably saying that it may have been a race thing or whatever the case would be. I actually don't think it was. I think Mike said, you know what, I'm gonna step away when I'm good. What was it, 18, 19 seasons? Winning season.
I,
Yeah, he didn't get his playoff wins,
yeah,
but
I mean, he's never had a losing. Well, they say he's part of the Rudy rule, right? The Rudy rule that you're supposed to interview a minority candidate if you have an open position, especially at the head coach's role. If it is a race thing, so what? He's proven that you can be successful if that is there. Why? Why is it wrong to? I mean, you want to hire the best. I have no problem with that. But why is it shunned upon to give an interview to everybody to see which one is the best? How can you know that person is the best if you don't give them an opportunity to speak and talk? That's the whole thing, man. When they talk about diversity and all this stuff, and I forgot the initiative for diversity being there. Why is it wrong to have that one interview to talk to someone to see if they are the best or not? And if that opens, if that person of color may be the best person, but if you don't give them an opportunity to see it the best person, you'll never know. So why are we cutting off that mechanism of never know? That part I don't understand. So if he is a part of the Rudy rule, congratulations. He proved everybody wrong.
Hey,
He
that was a
can
good
do it and do
rule.
it at a high level.
That was a good rule.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
don't
rule.
see Coach coming back to coaching. I don't see Coach Tomlin
I think he's
coming.
going to take about a year. I think he's going to at least
Yeah,
take a year off, at least a year off.
yeah.
But I believe the Rudy rule needs to be applied to the collegiate level because it's not. There's a huge disparity between people of color
Mm,
and coaches in football, at least. You know, women's basketball, I think it's still a skew, but that's predominantly getting more and more and more in, especially women and women of color coaching. Men's basketball, I kind of don't follow no more because it's not as exciting as it used to be. But I'm sure it's still skewed there, especially at the elite level. We again, this theme of this whole show has been we got to do better. Everybody got
yeah,
to do better. We
everybody.
just got to do better. So
Uh, we gotta do better, and I like what Roddy was saying. Yeah, because I didn't burn any. I still got all the terrible towels that I had. I didn't burn any at the end of this season. But yeah, after Roethlisberger, after I, Aaron Rodgers, come on, brother, you can't throw 2 pick-sixes.
I
And
mean,
that was sad.
look,
No,
man.
listen, I was about to go cry in the car when that happened. I didn't like
But the
that.
game, I mean, if we're gonna talk about that, we could talk about a few epic failures we didn't have these last
Oh
couple of weeks
Lord,
because
see that
the Chargers, University of Oregon, I don't know what happened in that game. They got beat like they stole something.
Hey, and I'm glad. I'm glad that the University of Oregon got spanked. Because we
I know
we
you
not
are,
ducks
but
around here, we beavers. So good riddance to it.
still, it ain't going. The state of Oregon should be represented a lot better than it was, right? Against that Indiana squad, they got beat like they stole something for
They
real.
they got
You
beat from
know,
the jump, from the gate,
from the
boy.
jump. I mean, I've never
Mendoza
seen.
came out and had something on his mind.
It was so lopsided. It was crazy. I mean, the game got boring. You're like, damn, they
I
can
could,
play whatever they
man,
want
to
on
be a
Oregon.
fly on the wall in halftime when Coach was probably hollering at them Ducks, man, I'd have paid money for that. I'd have paid top dollar to be in that locker room.
But again, wait, hold on, and we gonna tie this into our other. Before we go, we're gonna tie this into. We talking about gambling, right?
Yeah.
What makes you think some of that wasn't involved? Because there's no way they should have been beat that bad. No way. With all that talent, there's no way. You can't tell me you was out schemed that badly against Indiana, which in the game it looked like you were. But
Yes.
I can't imagine it. And then we got to talk about also before we go. We'll let you guys go. I promise you. Next week we got to talk about Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss,
Ole
right?
Miss.
And but in one game he allows his coaching staff to coach the game, and then when it got to that championship game, he said, "No, y'all can't coach if you want to work here." Like, do we agree with coaches being able to staying there and coaching and finishing out their season? Or once they get hired by somebody, say jump ship somewhere else, does the staff need to go? Because remember, there's a recruiting aspect to that too. They're all
Yeah.
recruiting the same type of players.
Yep. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that next week, though. We'll get to that next week.
Man, boy, that's you setting them up right there, boy. God, that's see again one of my old analogies that I used to use. I'm gonna use it, but it's like a crack dealer. We didn't game a little bit.
Feed them a little bit. Give that taste. Give
We
them
didn't
that
game a
little bit of taste.
taste.
So they get
Now they gonna come back next week so we can have that. I swear, y'all help me with my analogies because again, I sometimes I just don't be thinking right, and I apologize for that. Everybody coming in from all the different locations, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All these folks that are watching on Twitter, nobody leaving comments. It's all good, y'all. Maybe next time, and obviously YouTube and things of that. We got these dislikes because we got into some conversations, but that's all right too.
All right.
And no one wanted to leave comments instead of just dropping the down thumb. It's all right. But Montel, go ahead and bring us home, brother, because I think we did what we needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out, first of all, to my nephew Trey White. Congratulations, he's going to Texas Tech. You know, I expect big things out of him. Congratulations to my son. You know, he's still at Montana Tech, and my other son is breaking into the game and the business now that he's graduated and all that good stuff. And my daughters love them, to death. But most important, man, like we always say, get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's how we learn.
That fella right there.
Yeah. Team no sleep, we up all night. Montel and James keep the convo tight. Sports and culture where they collide. Tune in, lock in, let's take that ride. To Mike, to King, no snooze allowed. From the court to the block, we speak it loud. Social impact where the game align. Crossovers and causes intertwined. We the voice from the streets to arenas. Breaking down plays from LeBron to Serena. Whistle blow and the world reacts. Sports and the struggle, the cold hard facts. Team no sleep, we talking real deep, real deep. Hip hop, sports, no counting sheet, counting sheet. No the field to the booth, we tell the truth, tell the truth. Team no sleep, we bring